Okay, let's dive in. Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through the sources, pull out the key stuff, and hopefully give you the perspective you're looking for. Today, we're really zooming out, like way out, taking a cosmic view to understand, well, us, how science defines meaning, maybe challenges our divisions, and helps us get a grip on reality. We're leaning heavily on insights from a pretty famous astrophysicist who has a way of making space feel personal.
Yeah, that's the mission, isn't it? To connect the huge scale of the universe with, our everyday lives. We're going to look at the science, the actual facts of what we're made of, and then use that big picture to think about things like conflict, divisions, and why maybe ignoring objective truth is, well, kind of dangerous for civilization.
Right. And maybe we should just jump straight in with a stat that really highlights this challenge to objective truth. Sources are showing something like, what, 80% of Gen Z believes in astrology to some extent?
Yeah, 80%,
Yeah.
which is all right. Wow. But then it gets deeper. About 72% of those folks, and this includes millennials too, they actually let their star signs influence big life choices.
Big choices. Like what?
Romance, health decisions, jobs, even education, basically handing over the reins to, well, pseudoscience, not the actual stars.
That's kind of staggering. It feels like looking for answers in the wrong place entirely.
Exactly. And the warning drawn from the analysis in our sources, it's pretty stark. The argument is if that hits 100%, if everyone just blames everything on forces they can't grasp, civilization kind of takes a step back, intellectually speaking. He literally said, you just go back to the cave. It kills the drive for rational thought, for science.
Okay, but the real kicker, the irony here, is that while people are looking at star charts, the actual stars, they've already influenced us profoundly. Like literally, this is where the objective truth starts, right? We are made of stardust. And that's not just poetry.
No, not at all. It's the ultimate connection. It's pure chemistry. If you list the most common elements in us, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, then others, and compare that list to the most common elements in the universe, leaving out helium because it's inert.
It's the same list.
It's almost a perfect match, one for one.
So the universe isn't just something out there. We're literally built from it.
Precisely. The hydrogen in your body, that goes back to just after the Big Bang. But the heavier stuff, the carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, the building blocks of life, they were forged deep inside stars, cooked up in stellar cores. And when those stars exploded, they scattered that stuff across space, seeding the next generation, allowing planets like Earth and us to form. So yeah, it's not just that we're alive in the universe. The universe is literally alive in us.
Wow. That really shifts your perspective. An instant connection to everything. And this oneness, it doesn't just stop with stardust, right? It happens right here on Earth too, like molecule by molecule.
Oh, absolutely. Think about breathing. That fact always gets me. In a single breath you take in, there are more air molecules than there are breaths in the entire Earth's atmosphere.
The scale is just impossible to picture.
Yeah.
And I remember reading the follow-on from that because those molecules mix so fast. The air you're breathing right now has molecules that, like, Caesar breathed, or Buddha, or anyone who's ever lived.
Exactly. It's this unavoidable kinship. You can't escape it. And it goes deeper into our biology. DNA, get this. We share 20% of our genes with the banana.
20% with a banana. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be surprised I like bananas. But
Right.
seriously, the other comparison was even crazier, wasn't it? Humans and mushrooms.
Yeah. Genetically, you and I have more in common with a mushroom than either of us has with, say, a green plant, like a tree. It's just the objective reality of how life is connected on this planet.
Okay, this is where things get really interesting for me. If we're made of this, like, infinite stardust connected to this huge ancient cosmos, how does our own short lifespan, our mortality, fit into finding meaning? If we're part of everything, why does our own end feel so final, so scary?
That tension is crucial. The argument we found is that knowing we're going to die actually focuses us. It gives life purpose, urgency, resolve. You have limited time, so you got to make it count.
But hold on, if finiteness gives purpose, why are we so obsessed with living longer? You know, all the medicine, the tech trying to push back death. That's a huge industry. Doesn't that kind of contradict the idea?
Well, it's a challenge, sure, but I think the fear of death, which drives that longevity research, is maybe different from the purpose you get from knowing time is limited. Think about it. If you lived forever, would you ever rush? Would anything feel important now? You'd have infinite time, so how would you focus it? Paradoxically, maybe an infinite life would feel meaningless because there's no pressure, no deadline. It's the ticking clock that makes today matter.
So it's not just about staying alive, it's about what you do with the time. making an impact.
Exactly. The focus becomes, okay, how do I leave the world a little better than I found it? That quote about being ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity, that really captures it. That's the purpose you find when you accept your finite.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. From individual meaning to group beliefs. Does the evidence, like from fossils and stuff, suggest humans kind of evolved to be religious,
Yeah.
to believe in things beyond just what we can see and measure?
It does seem that way. If you look at, say, Neanderthal burial sites, they buried their dead with tools, with objects, ritualistically. Why do that? Unless you have some idea of an afterlife, a next stage, a journey. You see similar things across cultures, right? Like the ancient Greeks putting a coin with the dead.
To pay the ferryman, Charon, to cross the river Styx into Hades. Yeah.
Right, so this idea of something beyond seems very old, very human.
And presumably, there were advantages to banding together around these shared stories, survival benefits.
Oh, huge benefits. Religion can be an incredibly powerful glue for a group. Shared beliefs, shared rituals, it builds trust, cooperation, a strong sense of us, which is great for survival within the group. The downside, the worst outcome, is when that strong us bumps up against them, some other group with different beliefs. That's when you get division, conflict, even war. And that's where sticking to objective truth becomes so important.
You mentioned the astrophysicists actually read, like, all the major religious texts, the Torah, the Quran.
Yeah, systematically read them, not to debunk, but to understand, to have informed conversations.
And what was the big takeaway from that about how belief works, how conviction works?
The really striking observation was that very devout people are often, in a way, atheists to every religion but their own. They can easily spot the logical flaws or scientific impossibilities in other faiths, but apply a total blind spot to the similar issues within their own belief system.
And what does that tell us about trying to find objective truth in society today?
It shows our brains are perfectly capable of critical thinking, but we tend to use it selectively, often to protect our group identity. And that leads straight to what he sees as a major danger now. People valuing what they think is true more than what is true. When feelings or desired realities start shaping laws and policies instead of actual verifiable facts, well, the source calls that a recipe for the unraveling of civilization. And we should probably touch on a specific aspect of this, the idea of the God of the gaps.
Right, that's the tendency to just say God did it whenever science doesn't have an answer yet.
Exactly, slotting God into the unknowns. The analysis was pretty direct, but notice the if. It says, if to you God is where science has yet to tread, then God is an ever-receding pocket of scientific ignorance. Because as science learns more, as it explores those gaps, that pocket inherently shrinks. The point isn't necessarily anti-religion, it's anti-stopping the search. Don't let an invented answer kill curiosity.
That idea of always pushing the boundaries, always asking more questions, it kind of brings us back to that cosmic view, doesn't it? The ultimate reality check. Share that visual analogy again, the one about seeing Earth from space and how it reframes conflict.
Yeah, imagine you're in orbit, looking down, the ultimate impartial view. You see this stunning blue marble land clouds. Beautiful, but also fragile. You realize the atmosphere, the thing keeping everything alive, is incredibly thin, like the skin on an apple compared to the apple itself. And down there, people are fighting over lines drawn on maps, who to worship, skin color accents. From up there, floating in that vastness, looking at that fragile little ecosystem, those fights just look absurd. Utterly absurd.
That perspective shift is powerful.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads to personal growth, right?
Yeah.
How we learn. What was the take on giving advice, like advice to your younger self?
Yeah, it was interesting. He said he wouldn't give his younger self any advice because wisdom isn't given, it's earned. He said living life itself is the lesson. You learn by messing up, by making mistakes and figuring things out. That's how you get wisdom. And the key to keeping that going, no matter how old you are, is just stay curious, stay alert. Allow yourself, he said, to be humbled daily with new ideas that challenge any or everything that you currently think.
Okay, let's use that objective lens now and look forward. A question lots of us probably wonder about. Space travel. What's the real chance, say, of hopping on a flight to Mars in our lifetime? Maybe as a tourist.
Okay, prepare yourself. The answer, based on historical patterns, is probably zero.
Zero? Really, that sounds pessimistic.
Maybe pragmatic is a better word. Look, huge, expensive, government-funded projects like sending people to Mars, they don't happen just because it's cool or for science or tourism. They happen for geopolitical reasons.
Yeah.
Economics or defense. That's the driver.
Okay, back that up. Give us the history.
Think Apollo. We went to the moon in the 60s and 70s, right? Why? Because it was the Cold War. It was a race against the godless Russians, a show of technological and ideological supremacy. As soon as we'd won that race, planted the flag, beaten the Soviets, boom, Apollo was canceled. Even though they had rockets built, ready to go. We didn't go back for 50 years.
And now Artemis is going back to the moon.
Why now? Because China is going. They're sending their taikonauts. Suddenly there's that geopolitical pressure again, a potential rival gaining an advantage, maybe resources, maybe military bases, and poof, the funding appears. Mars. It's a huge undertaking, minimum 3-year round trip if you time it right for fuel efficiency. Cost maybe $1 trillion. We're not going to do that for tourism. We'll go if, and probably only if, China looks like it's going to set up shop there first.
That is a bracingly objective take on how big things actually get done.
Wow.
Okay, let's wrap with maybe the ultimate existential curveball, the simulation hypothesis. Is it possible all of this is just a program?
Ugh, this simulation argument. It's really a numbers game, a probability thing. The logic goes, if any advanced civilization anywhere, ever, can create totally realistic, conscious simulations. And if those simulations can eventually create their own simulations...
Then you get simulations within simulations within simulations.
Exactly. You get way more simulated universes than real base reality universes. So if you throw a dart randomly at all possible universes, where is it most likely to land?
In a simulation.
Statistically, yeah.
Yeah.
By a huge margin, potentially.
Okay, is there any way out of that slightly terrifying thought? An escape hatch?
There's one potential out. Look at us. Right now, can we create a perfect, indistinguishable simulation of reality complete with conscious beings? No, not even close. So that means we have to be one of two things. Either we are the original, real, base universe, the first ones who haven't figured out the tech yet, or we're simply the latest simulation in a long chain that hasn't reached that technological level yet, which kind of narrows the odds back down towards maybe 50-50-ish.
Okay, so bring this all home. What's the big takeaway? We've seen science show us this incredible literal unity through stardust, through molecules, through shared DNA. We're connected to the cosmos, to each other. And knowing that, really feeling that objective truth, it should make us question our divisions, our conflicts, right?
Absolutely. That cosmic perspective is a powerful antidote to tribalism, and ultimately, maybe the real point of all this inquiry, this deep dive, isn't just about finding neat answers. It's about embracing the questions, pushing the boundaries of what we don't know. Because as the astrophysicist puts it, as the area of our knowledge grows, so too does the perimeter of our ignorance. There's always more to wonder about.
And that's where the excitement is, maybe, in the not knowing.
Exactly. So the final thought we want to leave you with, it comes from the poet Rilke. He advised us to learn to love the questions themselves. Don't just settle for the easy answers, so ask yourself, what question feels off limits or silly to you today? What are you maybe afraid to ask? Because history shows that questions deemed ridiculous in one era, like asking if the moon was made of cheese, can become the bedrock of scientific progress in the next. How do we push beyond the cave? By daring to ask those illegitimate questions.